What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel on this Monday morning, Christmas Day, December 25th, 2017. And I got no news, man. Santa has no gifts to put under the tree this year. It's no news as I expected on a really slow news week. I barely got any news for Saturday and Sunday's videos. Sunday's video being about 42, 43 minutes roughly. And that's just with straight news. So I ran through most of what I had for the week. And I finished up yesterday. And if you guys missed that video, which I'm sure most of you did, because YouTube demonetized it almost immediately for absolutely no reason. So when it gets demonetized like that immediately on YouTube, the search for it is pretty much non-existent. So if you guys missed part 2 of Off the Script, where we talk about Rey Mysterio and a possible return at this year's Royal Rumble, that is live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Also, part 1 of Off the Script is done this weekend as well, where we talk about Vince McMahon taking out 3.34 million shares of WWE stock from his own portfolio. That is equivalent to $105 million to trademark the XFL and to invest in Alpha Entertainment LLC. So he's looking to venture out into other brands of sports and entertainment outside of wrestling. We talk about all that on part 1 of Off the Script, so make sure you guys go and check that stuff out if you have not done so already. So you're probably wondering, what am I going to do for today's video? Why am I even here? Well, I'm going to dedicate this show to you guys. I posted something on Twitter where you guys could ask me anything. Could be anything wrestling related, anything music related, anything life related. And I pinned that to my Twitter wall. And we have almost 100 replies to that tweet. So we're going to go over most of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. Not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to go through most of them today to fill out this part 3 of episode 201. It's the least I can do for you guys. Also, I have a beautiful Christmas card mailed to me by one of my subscribers. We're going to read that here on the show. We're going to go over Patreon shoutouts on the show. We're going to go over subscriber stories, as I have a few things that I want to go over with you guys as well. So it's going to be a very viewer-based Off the Script here for part 3. It's the least I can do for you guys. But as you guys know, and as I've been saying all week, I dread Christmas. I really do. There's really no reason for me to get excited about Christmas. I have people in my life that I care for and love dearly. But that's the extent of it. I really don't ask for gifts. I don't really get anybody anything because they don't really want anything. I ask and I ask and I ask, and I'm willing to extend the gesture, but nobody really does anything, you know, that I know of for the holidays. And I don't really need anything from anybody. I don't. I could get anything that I want throughout the year. I don't need someone to go and get me anything. And I just don't really care for Christmas at all, man. It's one of those things where you had a few instances growing up and a few instances when I lived in New Jersey that kind of ruined Christmas for me as a whole. So I really didn't care about Christmas. There was once upon a time where I did care about Christmas, but I just don't care. Obviously, I went through the motions every year. I had some nice Christmases. I'm not going to lie, I had some nice Christmases, you know, but for the overall aspect of the holiday, I really don't care. I just can't honestly, I can't honestly sit here and tell you and lie to you that, oh, I'm all festive and this and that. I don't care, and I can't wait for it all to be over. But that's the extent of it. Don't really want to bring down the video or bring down the podcast with my dislike for Christmas. But I'm here to give back for everything that you guys do, and I'm going to make this a completely viewer-based Off the Script here for part 3 of episode 201. Really the first time that I've ever done a completely viewer-based part of Off the Script where there was absolutely no news. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys, and I hope you all, because I know there's many out there that do celebrate. There are many out there that feel the same way as I do, you know. But there are many who do celebrate and enjoy this time of the year, and I hope each and every one of you who do enjoy it have a happy and healthy and Merry Christmas. And I appreciate all the support that you guys have shown me over the past year, and I'm looking to make 2018 the year finally we nail that benchmark of 100,000 subscribers. So it's going to happen. Don't know when it's going to happen. We're going to try our best to do so. And I want to thank every one of you for sticking with me and being with me on this YouTube journey. So thank you guys so very much. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Monday Night Raw is tonight. The first hour is commercial free, remember. So that means we're probably going to get a whole bunch of filler, because you know WWE isn't going to give away the good stuff for free. So we'll see what happens with that. I believe it is emanating from Chicago. Hopefully they have a decent show. Hopefully we don't see any cheesy, you know, just over-the-top Christmassy garbage. I don't want to see, you know, presents being unboxed. I don't want to see people in catering having food fights. I don't want to see a trick or street fight. None of that shit on Monday Night Raw. I don't want to see none of that garbage. Now, if Braun Strowman's going to take a Christmas tree and fucking demolish somebody with it, I'm all for that. But what we usually see with these holiday-themed shows for WWE, I don't want none of that, man. I want a serious show. I want something that's going to take us into the new year on a high note. And I don't want none of this garbage that we usually see. So I will be here tonight, as always, reviewing the show. So if you guys are always awaiting my Monday Night Raw review, there will be one tonight for you guys. And yes, it is live. Raw is live, they're not taped, on the USA Network tonight for Christmas Day. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. We do WWE news and rumors every single week, every single weekend with Off the Script. If you guys are new and you guys want your news delivered to you the only way that it should be, with pure honesty and no frills, right here Off the Script, that's what we do, man. JD brings it to you with no bullshit behind it. Hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for all notifications. We are about 250 away from 86,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so very much for that. And I want to thank all the sponsors all year, man, for sticking with the podcast and believing in the podcast. Pro Wrestling Crate, That Wrestling Club, Wrestle Crate, Audible. And I want to thank all my Patreons, man. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me all year long. You guys are absolutely amazing. You're an amazing support. The channel would not be doing half as well without you guys. So thank you guys so much through all the bullshit that YouTube puts its content creators through. You guys have been there and have been a beacon of light. So thank you guys so very much. And I appreciate all that you do. Speaking of Patreon, man, I want to start off with the Patreon shoutouts. I'm going to run through the entire month of December for you guys. JP, thank you so much, brother. British Davis, thank you so much, man. Good to have you on board, as always. Mohit, thank you so much, man. John Stryker, I know we have differing opinions here and there, man, but your support and your appreciation for what I do here means a lot to me, man. And I hope you and your family have a great holiday, and I hope you are doing well yourself, man. So thank you so much for all that you do, and I greatly appreciate you being here with me, man. Adele, thank you so much, man. Julio M., thank you for your Patreon. Daniel Clark, Savas Diakos. We got Robert Barnett. We have Carmen Clark. We have Tom. We have Luis Rivera. What's up, brother? We have Abdullah. This is the big one for the month of December, man. And I know I shouted him out on Twitter, but I didn't do so on the podcast. Abdullah comes in this month with a $150 donation. Abdullah has even extended tickets to the Royal Rumble ringside with him this coming January, man. But Abdullah, if you're watching, if you're listening, I emailed you. Get back to me, man. So let's see if we can hook up in Philadelphia. I'm going to try and be in Philadelphia. I'm not making any promises because it all hinders on the person I want to take. because she is going to be working, and her job is more important than anything that I do here. Especially when I have to travel. I want to make sure, things are lined up time constraint wise. But I am going to try and make it out to Philadelphia. I want to make it out to Philadelphia. I know a lot of people that are going to be out in Philadelphia because it's going to be a big weekend. It's the kickstart for WrestleMania season. And I want to experience Philadelphia for Saturday and some Sunday before I come back here, because I'm only going to try and be out there for a day. Going to try and fit in all the wrestling activities I can in a day. Maybe have a cheesesteak, wherever you guys prefer. I need recommendations if I do go out there. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, man. But Abdullah, thank you so much, man. $150 pledge to kickstart December, man. Thank you so much. Richard Powell, thank you for your donation and pledge. Samuel Shelley, thank you so much. Frankie Franchise, what's up, brother? Hey, yo, Frankie. How you doing, bro? Thank you so much, man. Peter Catalonia, thank you so much, man. Ken Tobu, thank you for your pledge. Gianni, thank you so much, man. Gianni, you're making the community posts on my Patreon wall fucking active as ever, bro. I emailed everybody, or I sent out a post for the Discord. Join the Discord. If you guys are on my Patreon, join my exclusive Discord chat. Everybody's in there. They're having a fun. They converse with each other during Raw, SmackDown, NXT, pay-per-views. It's a good community setting, man. So if you guys are on my Patreon wall, I did tweet out, or I did post on there, the Discord link for everybody to join. It is open to all my Patreons, so make sure you guys do that. Johnny, go in there and have a good time with everybody, man. So thank you for your pledge. Nintendo Players 101, thank you so much for your pledge, man. We have Andrew Schmidt, thank you for your pledge. Nick Johnson, thank you for your pledge, brother. We have, and that was it. Nick Johnson was the last one. So thank you, everybody, for pledging to the Patreon page, man, in the month of December. You guys are absolutely beast. If you guys want to be on board with the Patreon, patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. Going to mention it here because it will be starting next weekend. The JD Off the Script PayPal Rumble will be back for the Royal Rumble season, man. So starting next weekend on Off the Script, which will be it's actually going to be the last Off the Script of the year and the first Off the Script of the year, because we're going to be doing something on New Year's Eve, and then we're going to have something on New Year's Day. So, I'm not sure. It's Monday, right? So it'll be the last Off the Script of the week, of the year, rather. And then after that, obviously, we'll kickstart the new year. But it's going to start next week. We're going to do the PayPal Rumble. I'm going to have a limit for everybody to join and participate in the PayPal Rumble. You're going to enter, and you're automatically going to be put into a pool. And I'm going to have a huge drawing, and you're going to win a bunch of shit that I have here, bunch of prizes. You're going to get some special stuff, mailed to you guys. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to try and make it really, really special for you guys. PayPal Rumble for Off the Script next weekend. And it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be in the spirit of the Royal Rumble. And we're going to have our own little mini Royal Rumble here on Off the Script. So I'll let you guys know what's going on with that during the week on Twitter. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. But other than that, man, you guys have been great all year. I want to show you guys this. Let me pull this picture up. Let me pull this picture up here. Now, you guys know how Bray Wyatt has been ruined time and time again on WWE television. Look at this picture, man. He had this custom-made belt made for him. I'm guessing he wanted a Christmas miracle, and being that WWE is pretty much the Scrooge or the Grinch when it comes to Bray Wyatt, he wanted to give himself his own Christmas gift. He wanted to give himself his own Christmas miracle. Look at this picture, man. Bray Wyatt had his own custom-made, I guess, Sister Abigail, Eater of Worlds belt made in vain of the, I guess you could say it's the Universal Championship, being that he's on Raw, or the WWE Championship, whichever you want to go about. But that belt that he had made is absolutely fucking drop dead gorgeous. If you guys seen this thing on Twitter, I think there was a close-up of it on Twitter. Someone took a video of it on Twitter. The detail in that leather strap is absolutely out of this fucking world. And it's a damn shame that Bray Wyatt lost the WWE Championship just as fast as he won it. Bray Wyatt should have never lost the WWE Championship. In fact, Jinder Mahal's entire reign should have been Bray Wyatt's. Bray Wyatt should have never been moved over to Monday Night Raw. Bray Wyatt should have never lost the WWE Championship to Randy Orton. And Bray Wyatt should have lost the WWE Championship this year to AJ Styles. That's what should have been done. That's what should have been done with Bray Wyatt, and that's the way it should have been. I don't care what anybody else says. That belt is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I don't condone, everybody like a Bray Wyatt or, an AJ Styles or a Jinder Mahal or, anybody in the WWE to have their own custom-made belts when they become WWE champion. It would diminish the fact, that they are champion, number one. Number two, it kind of makes everything a little hokey, a little over the top. You got one set championship belt, and you have that championship belt that has pretty much seen changes over the years, but still maintains that essence of the World Championship. The WWE Championship has transformed itself a few times over the years. Only someone with a character like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a Rock could do something like that, I don't see Bray Wyatt being in that upper echelon type guy or category to have his own belt made like that, but it is fun to fantasy foresee what the belt would be like if Bray Wyatt was that type of guy in WWE, what the belt would be like if he wanted his own custom-made belt, man. That belt is absolutely fucking gorgeous, so I wanted to show you guys that here on Off the Script. But it's unbelievable. Unbelievable that I believe he had it from. I believe he had it made from Top Rope Belts or something like that. I don't remember who he had it made by, but they did a phenomenal job on that, and kudos to them, man. Unbelievable stuff there for Bray Wyatt, and I'm sure he's having a merry Christmas, man, with JoJo's fat ass, man. JoJo's fat ass under the mistletoe, man. The eater of worlds under the mistletoe as I grab JoJo's sweet, salty, buttery fat ass, man. Oh, my God, man. Let's get on with the fucking shit. Let's get on with the shit, man. I want to start off with the Christmas card. We had a Christmas card here mailed from Stephanie. And I want to show you the front of the card. I believe she made this card herself. She emailed me and says she loves making Christmas cards and she wanted to mail me one. And on the back it says, I'll spread love, hug the people you care most about, and make sure they know that you care and appreciate them. Make it known to your friends and family that you love them. So she puts that there, and she's got some little decals there, snowman, a reindeer, Christmas tree, and a penguin with a Christmas snow cap on. So that's pretty cute, man. Very nice detail on the card, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. The back of the card here, I'm assuming this is the back of the card. It comes in two separate pieces here. She writes, and you can see here, she writes, JD, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Wishing you joy throughout the entire season. Happy holidays. Christmas is the time to come together and spread love and peace. You are such an inspiration. I love watching your videos and following you. I will always support you. You are a great and wonderful person. I'm glad you do something you love. Always do what you love. I hope you have a great holiday with your family. Merry Christmas. Signed, Stephanie. So that's that, Stephanie. Thank you so much. And she even puts a note in here. Wow. She even puts a note in here, man. She got a little note written to me. JD, hi, my name is Stephanie. I live in Michigan. My fiance, Derek, and I are big fans. He has found you first, but I am so glad he showed me your videos. I really love your videos. You are very talented and always do an amazing job. It's great to see people be their self and also love what they do. I am happy you are doing something you really love. It's important to do something you enjoy versus doing a job that makes you miserable. You are an amazing person. You are very strong, and you are capable of many things. You always make my day better if I am having a bad day. I know you mentioned a couple of times in your videos that you were having a hard time. Please know that you are not alone, and all of your fans, including me, are always here for you. We all care for you. The rain never lasts forever. The sun must come out. You really are an inspiration. I really wish Derek and I could meet you someday. That would be awesome. I am a proud Patreon. I wish I could give more, but as soon as I can, I will give you more. Money is a bit tight for me right now. I will soon, though. You deserve more than what I'm giving. You do hard work in everything you do. Thank you for everything you do and for all your videos. I will always follow you and be your fan. You are awesome, JD. You really are. You are great for who you are. I put a picture of Derek and I so you can have it. I hope you have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Signed, Stephanie. Man, that's really sweet, and I really appreciate the gesture, Stephanie and Derek. Thank you so much for all your support. Patreon, I love you guys. I love that you guys come out and want to support. And I know I've been lackadaisical with the content that I've promised on there, but not to make any excuses, man. But more times than not, people just want to give without receiving anything. And I'm gonna try my best to do a little bit better with what I have been offering on the Patreon page. But you know, your support means more to me than any pledge. You know, you doing this and extending the gesture of this means more to me than any Patreon pledge. So thank you so much, Stephanie, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do something sweet for me for the holiday season. So thank you, and Derek, and I wish both of you a Merry Christmas. So thank you so much. We are going to get into the questions. And then at the end of this, we're going to do some subscriber stories, man, because there's one subscriber story in particular that comes with a bunch of awesome pictures. And I didn't upload the pictures to my OBS, so I want to make sure you guys are going to get that. So we're going to do some of the questions. We're going to take a little break, and then we are going to go right on into a few subscriber stories that I got to close this episode out of Off the Script. But let's get into the wrestling-related questions, man. There's a lot of them. You guys came out and want to know certain things, and you asked away. You guys use the hashtag JDOTS. And I'm going to start off with my boy Oos, Ali Kanawai. He's a main event goon on Patreon. And he has a WWE Retro Question for me. Out of the 5 following WWE superstars, which would you have booked to win the Intercontinental Championship? Explain how you would have booked their reign and when. Brutus Beefcake, the Big Boss Man, Mike Rotunda, a.k.a. Erwin R. Shyster, Jim Duggan, or X-Pac? I am going to go with, and the reason why I'm going to go with him is because I really wasn't a big fan of the other ones. Beefcake, didn't really care for it all. Big Boss Man, didn't care for it all. Though I appreciated his big man prowess. Jim Duggan, I really didn't care for. X-Pac 1-2-3 Kid was good, but the one person that sticks out there to me is Mike Rotunda, IRS. I loved the IRS character. I thought him paired with Ted DiBiase was fantastic. There was a moment in 1993 where Razor Ramon won a Battle Royal. Or it was a tournament, I believe. I think it was a tournament. For the Intercontinental Championship because Shawn Michaels had been suspended. I believe he got suspended for drug policy violation or drug use. And he was suspended while the Intercontinental Champion. He was the Intercontinental Champion for most of 1993. He had notable title defenses against Marty Jannetty at the Royal Rumble in 93, Tatanka in April of that year at WrestleMania 9. He defeated Crush at the King of the Ring that year. He fought Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam, which was an underwhelming match, by the way. I expected a lot more from those two. And then he went into Survivor Series with the title, but they had stripped him. He was proclaiming that he was the real Intercontinental Champion, and when they had suspended him, obviously they needed the title to be on television. So they gave it to Razor Ramon. Michaels came back from suspension. He proclaimed that he was still the Intercontinental Champion. Nobody beat him. That's what made the whole storyline with he and Ramon so great in the ladder match. So it all kind of came to fruition. But Ramon won the title. Instead of having Ramon win the title, I would have given it to IRS. Because they had put IRS in the Intercontinental title picture anyway soon after that. At that Survivor Series, IRS was being positioned as the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. I guess they didn't really have anybody else on the radar. And IRS was the perfect guy to use as like a buffer before Ramon got to Michaels at WrestleMania 10 in that acclaimed ladder match. But I would have given the Intercontinental Championship to IRS. The finals of that tournament were Ramon and the Model, Rick Martel. I would have gone about it and did IRS versus Ramon. And I would have had IRS cheat Ramon out of the title. I would have had IRS have the title from October, November, December, all the way into the Royal Rumble. Give him a nice little run. He was more than capable of holding that title. He was one of the best wrestlers in the company, bar none. You know, Mike Rotunda is fucking amazing. You know, the gimmick was hit or miss with people, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I really did. You know, he looked a little, you know, a little crazy wearing a fucking suit and tie and looking like a tax man, but the guy could fucking wrestle. I would have had him win the Intercontinental Championship, and I would have had Ramon chase, and I would have had Ramon win it at the Royal Rumble. And at that point, you know, Michaels could come back and kind of still linger around with the real Intercontinental Championship, and then Ramon comes out and says that he's the only Intercontinental Champion you can build from there to the ladder match. But I guess the way it played out, I guess made a little bit more sense than what I'm telling you, but I would have booked IRS to win the Intercontinental Championship and then have Ramon beat IRS at the 1994 Royal Rumble. Now, those two did fight at the Royal Rumble in 94. I think IRS kind of stole the Intercontinental Championship from Ramon, and Ramon beat him in a wacky ending to that match and took back possession of the title. But that's what I would have did, man. I would have had IRS had a little run with the IC title. I think he was good enough for it, and I think he was much deserving of an Intercontinental Championship run. So hopefully that answers your question, man. And thank you for being so supportive on the Patreon page, man. Thank you so much. This one is coming from Drew at Orlando Buckeye. Happy holidays, JD. Thanks for the like on my pick with Ruby Riott. Drew actually ran into Ruby Riott while Christmas shopping in Orlando. So that was pretty cool. Do you think, he asks, years down the road, Braun Strowman will get off my TV heat like Big Show and Kane? It's kind of tough to answer that question because right now he is anything but. Big Show and Kane, they were once upon a time great. People are under the impression that I've always hated Big Show and I've always hated Kane. I did not. When Big Show was the Giant, he was fucking fantastic. When Kane was demonic voice box talking Kane and burning people, you know, and setting people on fire, that was fantastic. You know, but as these guys, especially the Giants, as they get older and as they age, it's like, why would you want to see them, man? They're not good in the ring. They can barely move. They're very, very, very limited in what they can do. And I'm assuming that's going to happen to Braun Strowman as well. Braun Strowman's 34 years old. How long do you think he's going to be in the wrestling business? You know? How long you think that big body and that big stature can hold up doing what he's doing? Right now, he's going full steam ahead. You know, he's doing things that big men shouldn't be doing. So obviously, he's going to be broken down at the end of his run here. I hope that WWE doesn't overexpose him like they do Kane and Big Show. I don't want to see it, but right now, honestly, it's a little bit too early to answer that question for Braun Strowman. I'm enjoying him now. I think he's one of the best things on Monday Night Raw, and I foresee a Universal Championship around his shoulder and around his waist in 2018 for sure. Cairo at Look at Him 123 on Twitter. Are you ready for Von, aka David Von der Haar, in 2018? Abso-fucking-lutely. Get Michael Condrey away from me and never have him return again. Please. Please. Joseph Fisher at Joseph Fisher 95 on Twitter. When WWE fails to get Roman over at WrestleMania 34, do you think Vince McMahon will give up on him? No. Absolutely not. This is only the beginning. When he wins the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34, that is only the beginning. Then it's going to be who is going to be the one to take down Roman. We don't know. I don't think there's anybody in Vince McMahon's radar right now that's going to take down Roman as soon as he wins the Universal Championship. So my answer to your question is absolutely no. They're putting everything they have into Roman Reigns now. You think they're going to now give up on him if they haven't done so in the last 4 years? Absolutely not. We have JJ Medro, Joshua Medro on Twitter. Hey JD, it's Josh. My question is, what is your ultimate dream match for any company and every wrestler to ever exist? And one more question, what is your favorite song? You got good taste in music, so I was just wondering. Let me answer the easier of the two questions. My favorite song is Blackbird by Alter Bridge. Easily I can answer that question. As far as ultimate dream match, you know, a lot of people ask me this question, and it's so difficult to answer because it's such an open-ended question, and everybody's opinion is going to be different. I always take the easy question, or the easy cop-out of this question. I'm going to say my dream match already existed, man. The one match that I think had literally everything I ever wanted was at WrestleMania 25. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. During that show, man. You know, not only is it the best WrestleMania match ever, but it may arguably be the best WWE match of all time. And that came from two guys who were in the later part of their careers, and they gave you a match like that. Some people don't see it that way. Some people are, are ones to enjoy the match, but they're not really ones to say it was the greatest match ever. It was great, and it was something that we haven't seen since. We haven't seen anything like that. The closest we've seen to that match was at TakeOver Dallas with Nakamura and his WWE debut against Sami Zayn. So I'm going to go and take a cop-out of that question. My dream match already happened, man. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Joshua M. Morgan at JMMorgan25. If WWE finally comes to their senses and changes their mind about Roman versus Brock, who replaces him? Seth Rollins? He deserves it and would culminate in an amazing journey from his freak injury in 2015 to now. Josh, it's fun to think about, but I'm going to be a realist here on your question. WWE will not change their mind. They will not come to their senses on Roman Reigns. And just like Joseph Fisher, who asked about Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon giving up on him, they will not come to their senses, and it will never happen. It will never happen. So I'm going to take another cop out of that question. I'm going to be real with you. They are not going to come to their senses. Roman versus Brock is happening. Roman's probably going to win the Elimination Chamber, and Roman's probably going to make us all nauseous at WrestleMania 34 when he wins the Universal Championship. But yes, Seth Rollins does deserve a shot. I think Seth Rollins coming out of WrestleMania this year has been, besides Cesaro, I think the hardest working member of the Raw roster. And everybody thinks I'm a sexist for my Royal Rumble comments. I love women's wrestling. One of my favorite women's matches, one of my favorite matches, period, all year, was Ember Moon versus Asuka at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Sasha Banks has been amazing in everything she's done for WWE this year, and she's been given the shaft. So I just wanted to throw that in there because a lot of people still, calling me sexist about my Royal Rumble comments, and I think WWE is using it to just play up to this political agenda that we're in modern day. But Seth Rollins has been the best male. Sasha Banks has been the best female for WWE in 2017 on Monday Night Raw. This one comes from YOLO Swaggins, M. Moses 2991 on Twitter. JD, let's assume the spoiler list for the Hall of Fame was a fake. Who would you induct into the 2018 Hall of Fame class as a headliner, tag team, woman, and dark horse inductee? I didn't really give this one any thought. as a headliner, I would probably go with Batista. I'd probably go with Batista. I would probably go with Demolition, being that they need to be in, and no matter what WWE has against them for whatever reason, they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time in this industry. Why they're not in the Hall of Fame, I don't know. I think the rumor was the Dudleys this year. Demolition should be ahead of everybody else right now. I would include Vader as a Dark Horse inductee. I think Vader needs to be in the Hall of Fame for all he did for the wrestling business. I would induct Jim Johnston this year, for sure. I think WWE needs to come up with a category for behind the scenes. And as far as a woman goes, I'm really undecided on who I would pick for a woman. Let me think. I'm gonna take a couple seconds to think here. I really can't think of anyone off the top of my head. I know Beth Phoenix is in already. It's hard, man, for the women. It really is. I'm gonna stick to my gun. I'm gonna stick to what we had rumored. I'm gonna go with Ivory. You know, I really can't think of anybody right now, and that's my fault. I'm gonna take a cheap cop out on that one. But as far as the other ones go, man, I think Batista would be a good headliner. I think the speech and the stories that he would have being around Triple H and Evolution and Ric Flair would be nice. Demolition, Vader, Jim Johnston for sure. And as far as a woman goes, I'm going to stick with Ivory because she was the rumored one to be in the Hall of Fame this year. Andy at Blissed Off Fan. With the injury to Seth Rollins, how would you book the tag teams going forward on Raw? And also, what would I do with Seth Rollins? Well, I am going to wish upon a star here, and I hope Dean Ambrose comes back relatively quick. I don't think he's going to be out as long as people are saying. If it was a full tear of his tricep, that would have been 6 or 7 months. But he only tore it about 50%, so he's probably looking at 3 or 4 months tops. And he's already in rehabilitation. WWE could really use what we've seen on Raw as a little nugget going forward for their comeback. I guess Ambrose comeback, rather. And they could build Ambrose versus Rollins at WrestleMania. I think that would be the best situation for both of those guys. But with the Revival coming back now on Raw and Dean Ambrose out and Rollins without a tag team partner, you know, they are the Shield. They are the Shield, right? So I don't understand this perception of, when Roman is not there, they're only known as Ambrose and Rollins. But when Roman is there, they're known as the Shield, you know? They're known as the Shield either way. I would have Dean, honestly. I would have Dean sit out, and I would have Dean get better. I would have Rollins have Reigns as his partner. I would have Rollins replace Dean with Roman. I would have them win the tag team titles. Yes, this would mean Roman would have 2 championships. But I would have the Revival beat Reigns and Rollins during Royal Rumble season. I would get the belts on the Revival, and I would have... Well, actually, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. I would have Reigns and Rollins have the tag team championship, and maybe if you want to extend it past the Royal Rumble, when Ambrose comes back, right? You can have him on the show. You can have him fuck things up. He doesn't need to be in a wrestling capacity. I would have Dean Ambrose come back and be like, "What the fuck? You replaced me with Roman? Now you're tag team champions with Roman Reigns. You injured me, right? You were the one who caused my injury." Remember that scene on Monday Night Raw with that suicide dive, right? They could easily play up to the fact that Rollins injured Ambrose. But I would have Dean come back and be like, "What the fuck? You replaced me with Roman Reigns? Now you tag team champions with Roman?" And I would have Dean Ambrose cost and turn heel on both Rollins and Reigns. I would have him cost them the tag team championships, and I would have the Revival be the benefactors of that. I think that would be great, you know? Because right now, they got no tag teams. They have no tag teams on Monday Night Raw that are credible. The Club, garbage. Absolutely garbage. You know, you ain't doing anything with Finn Balor. I think it's time you turn Finn Balor heel. I honestly think you turn Finn Balor heel and you get the club, you get the Balor club together, and you start rebuilding all three of these guys. I would have the Revival. I would have Sheamus and Cesaro. I don't know how long they're going to last with the rumored injury of the spinal stenosis to Sheamus. And then you would have Reigns and Rollins, right? You have Rhino and Slater there, but they ain't doing jack shit. You call up a tag team from NXT. Maybe we do Sanity. Maybe we do the Authors of Pain, wherever you want to plug those two teams into. I don't know. You know, maybe Sanity would be better on Monday Night Raw. Maybe the Authors of Pain would be better on SmackDown Live. I don't know. You know, that's up in the air. That really is up in the air. But either way you look at it, I would have Reigns and Rollins together. And I would have Dean Ambrose have a problem with that. And then you can start building from there. You use what you've seen on Monday Night Raw. You use that little suicide dive spot where Rollins injured Ambrose. Ambrose comes back and see that Reigns and Rollins are tag team champions. Maybe Reigns could drop the Intercontinental Championship before then to Samoa Joe. I don't know. You know? I don't know. So WWE certainly has pieces lined up where they can have fun with it and be creative with it. Are they? I don't think so. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's the first thing that popped into my head. You know, why have Rollins go on his own and take another team away from the tag team division, leaving only two heel teams, right? When you can have Reigns and Rollins add some storyline to the tag team division. I like it. That's what I would do. Moving on here. Chris Bell. Hey, JD, with Ember Moon being NXT Women's Champion, who should she feud with first, culminating to a title match at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia? I would do Ember Moon and Nikki Cross before she gets to New Orleans. And the reason why I say Nikki Cross is because Ember Moon was one of the women who came very close to beating Asuka, was not able to do so. Nikki Cross was the other woman who came close to beating Asuka, was not able to do so. Now that Asuka is not in NXT anymore, she's on Monday Night Raw. Now you have the two women who were very close to beating Asuka feuding over the title. It only makes sense. Shayna Baszler's probably going to come on in and start feuding with Kairi Sane. I would have Kairi Sane be built up, and I would have Kairi Sane beat Shayna Baszler. That's what I think Kairi Sane is going to be doing, being that was the finals, and Kairi Sane is probably going to get her ass kicked from a revenge-seeking Shayna Baszler. And I would have Kairi Sane win the Women's Championship at WrestleMania weekend at TakeOver New Orleans. I would have her beat Ember Moon. So that's what I would do there. But I think Ember and Nikki Cross is the feud that you want going into TakeOver Philadelphia for the Women's Championship, because there really is nobody else at the moment. Zachary Brown. Zachary92100197 on Twitter. Even though you love both of them, who would you have wanted to replace Cena as the top man in WWE? Daniel Bryan or CM Punk? That is a very, very difficult question. And then Zachary also has another one, an add-on. What do you think of an AJ Styles CM Punk match at WrestleMania? Take my money. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm sure everybody who is a wrestling fan would fucking drool over the fact of a CM Punk AJ Styles match at WrestleMania. But who would I want to replace John Cena? Realistically, it should have been CM Punk. Should have been CM Punk. He was there before Daniel Bryan, you know. But it's so tough to think. If CM Punk was the one to be given that spot, would we have gotten the Yes Movement? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Daniel Bryan could have been the one to replace John Cena, but WWE, you know, they didn't really open themselves up to it. Bryan got hurt. Bryan had a bunch of shit happen to him. And then at that time, CM Punk was gone. So they lost two guys potentially to replace John Cena because of their own wrongdoing. But Punk really should have been the one to get it. He was outselling John Cena in merchandise. He was the voice of that company. He said everything that needed to be said about the company, whether it was worked or whether it was shoot, you know. Punk should have been the one. But if Punk didn't walk away, would we have gotten the Yes Movement? You know? Probably not. The only reason why the Yes Movement even existed was because CM Punk walked away. They had nobody else. They had to fill that role, and Daniel Bryan was the right man at the right time. JD, what do you like to do in your spare time when not recording or talking WWE? This is from DMass3160. Yeah, that's more of a difficult question for me to answer, DMass. I don't know, man. I play video games. I like to bar hop in the city. I like to take drives. You know, I don't really do much, man. You know, sit home and relax. You know, there's really not much for me to do. You know, hang out with the girlfriend. Not much to do, man. I'm a very boring individual. You know, I like to find new places to eat, new places to drink. But other than that, I gave up my retail job to sit home and do what I love, and that's talk wrestling and stream and fucking be my own boss. So that's the best I could answer that question for you, man. So I really don't have anything else besides gaming and, you know, wrestling and just the normal things that everybody, you know, would love to do. Hang out with the girlfriend, hang out with the family, you know, eat, drink. It is what it is, man. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good question here. Carlos, Sports and Things 1. With Shayna Baszler's imminent debut, who would you have her feud with first? Kairi Sane. Rob Misseri. Will you be doing a meet and greet at 205th again for the 25th anniversary of Raw at Barclays? I did not think about that, but it might be something that I might do. I'm not really sure. I'll let you guys know, man. We'll see what happens. I might want to be grounded here to cover such a big Raw, so we'll see what happens. I got to find out if they're actually going to be showing Raw at 205th, but it'll be fun to have a little meet and greet in the city, man. So I'll see what happens with that, and I'll definitely let you guys know. A lot of really basic questions that I've already answered. Robert King, at RobKing92. JD, since Ricochet is coming to the WWE, mainly NXT, who would you have him face in his first match? Don't really know how I would have Ricochet come into NXT, but I went over a list of matches that would make people drool for Ricochet. I could see Ricochet versus Aleister Black being absolutely phenomenal. Adam Cole. I could see Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano. Ricochet versus Almas. Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre. Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. Ricochet versus Cassius Ohno. You know, a lot of guys down at NXT that could benefit working from Ricochet, man. But who would I have him face first? I don't know, man. I would probably go with Adam Cole, being that Ricochet is good enough to be NXT champion right out of the gate. I would just throw him Adam Cole's way, man. I would have them feud. So it's a very tough question, but you have a pick of the litter with Ricochet, man. I think anybody that you pick would be a good first match for the man known as Prince Puma. Jaden at SunEd064. Were you a fan of Kane in his prime? Yes, I was. Not 50-year-old running for Mayor Kane. Yes, I was a fan of Kane in his prime when he was tearing down cell doors and burning people and setting people on fire and tombstoning Pete Rose. Yes, I was a fan of Kane. Christian at Christia788262127. Never understood the Twitter people with so many numbers in their name. Does it mean anything? I don't know. Excluding AJ Styles, who are your top 3 superstars on the main roster? Ooh. That's tough, man. Braun Strowman. I would probably go with Nakamura. And I would probably go with Samoa Joe. Gonna go with Strowman. Probably gonna go with Nakamura and Samoa Joe. Those are my top 3 main roster guys. I wanted to say Bobby Roode, but I'm not liking the Bobby Roode babyface run right now, so they need to turn him heel in 2018. Courtney Bailey, at Courtney Bailey on Twitter. How would you revive the mid-card titles, bringing them back to prominence they once had in the past? Would you give them a new look or keep the same look and book them in important storylines? Well, I am 50-50 on this Roman IC Championship title open because I know why they're doing it, and I don't like it. You know, at least when John Cena was the U.S. champion, you know, he wasn't being propelled to fight for the world title at WrestleMania while holding that title. So I know why WWE is doing it with Roman. They're making the title look important, yes, but the main thing about that is they're feeding everybody to Roman on the roster so that he is nice and full. And by the time he gets to Brock Lesnar, he's going to be in a battle of attrition with Brock Lesnar. So, you know, the only one staring him down after he beats everybody on the Raw roster is going to be Brock Lesnar. And it's kind of a pathetic storyline if you ask me. The Intercontinental Championship should be defended at, you know, Monday Night Raw is in the main event. When Brock Lesnar is not there, it should be the main event of pay-per-views. Like if WWE had, you know, for example, Elimination Chamber's coming up, right? Okay? There's not going to be a Brock Lesnar Universal Championship title match on that show. Why not build your Intercontinental Championship up as the most important title on that show? I don't understand why WWE can't do that. And the pay-per-views that were, you know, in the past when Brock Lesnar wasn't there. You know, all those shows following WrestleMania. The first time we seen Brock Lesnar after WrestleMania was at Great Balls of Fire against Samoa Joe. The Intercontinental Championship should have been propelled as the main title on Raw in his absence. And WWE failed to do that. That's how you build and bring prominence back to a title. Same thing with the U.S. title. Same thing with the U.S. title. When AJ is not there, when AJ is not on SmackDown Live, the U.S. title should have been the next biggest thing on that show. Main events, you know, make it seem important. Don't put it on guys like Baron Corbin who are not going to defend the title, who you're only going to take the title and just put it on somebody else a month later. That's not how you build titles. That's not how you build importance to titles. Hot potatoing the title back and forth, you know? Why do you think I didn't give a shit about Charlotte and Sasha trading the title back and forth 9 different fucking times in 2016? It was disgusting. No, but I'm a sexist. That devalues the title. It's not the amount of title reigns that you have that makes a champion. It's the length of a title reign and what you do in that length that makes a champion. Come on, man. Anybody knows that. WWE seemingly has forgotten that credo. Ben Jr., Little Ben 20002. Hi, JD. Big fan from the Caribbean. Hope you're enjoying the warmth, bro. It's freezing over here. And I want to know your goals for the near future. Taking this podcast to SiriusXM for one. Getting to 100,000 subscribers. Even being a more bigger presence at WrestleMania this year. And becoming a bigger name in the podcasting community when it comes to WWE, man. Simple as that. I don't have very lofty goals. I think every one of those goals is easily attainable. And I hope you're having a nice cold beverage for me this holiday season down in the Caribbean, man. Thank you so much. Kingslayer Mike. Do you think the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 34 on the main card would be the right match to book? If so, how would you book it? You know what? I like that match. I really do like that match. I think it might be the wrong time and the wrong place to have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens do anything world title related. Now, I did hear on Solid Monsters podcast, I want to thank him for the shout out on Sunday's show. I know someone asked him on, not this past last week's sound off, that Shane could ultimately book, in the meantime, AJ versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble in a triple threat match. Just to kind of break away the pain in the ass known as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the team, the best friends, kind of break away the best friends team, and have them fight over something that is ultimately going to break them apart, and that is possession of the world title, right? They're going to have to compete over the world title, and they're going to have to go through one another to get there. So they could do something sly like that. But I like this idea better. I really do like this idea better. I like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens as tag team champions and fighting for the tag team championships. I think they could do very well. I think they could hold those belts for a very long time until the time is right. When Kevin Owens is thrusted back into another world title picture. Because what I'm envisioning for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is, I love the idea of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the Royal Rumble, and Sami Zayn, it's not going to last forever. Sami Zayn using this heel run to propel him to be an even bigger babyface in the future. I envision a Royal Rumble scenario where he's torn on whether he is going to be loyal to Kevin Owens or go on his own. And I would envision that with Owens as the world champion, and Sami Zayn, winning the Royal Rumble, and Kevin Owens not wanting to face him and not wanting him to win the Royal Rumble, and Sami Zayn kind of disobeys Kevin Owens and goes on his own and becomes a bigger babyface, and have them feud over the world title going into WrestleMania 35. Maybe. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. WWE can have fun with that as well if they want to play around with that and tinker around with that. But I think right now, for the time being, I think they're the best act on SmackDown Live. I would not break them away anytime soon. I think they're highly entertaining. I think they would be a great foil to the Usos. I don't think anybody right now on SmackDown Live could beat the Usos, nor do I think they should lose the title to anybody, even though Aiden English and Rusev are incredibly over. So, I think Owens and Zayn as tag team champions would be a great way to further them on SmackDown Live. And I really do like them and envision them as tag team champions. KJ Bantic. He's at AJ Styles GOAT on Twitter. 3 would you rather questions. Who would you rather have win the Royal Rumble? Samoa Joe or Sami Zayn? I'm going to go with... if you're talking about this year, Samoa Joe. If you're talking about overall, I think Sami Zayn. Would you rather have Lesnar or Reigns hold the title for the entirety of 2018? I would actually, Lesnar's had some good matches this year. Joe was a decent match. His match with Styles was fantastic. I would actually have Reigns have the title on Monday Night Raw because the title will be on the show instead of, not being on the show. And would you rather get rid of 205 Live or get rid of the third hour of Raw? Ooh. I would rather get rid of the third hour of Raw. Honestly. I think Raw should be from either 8 to 10 or 9 to 11. That's my opinion on that. But that's a damn tough one, man. I'd get rid of fucking both of them, to be honest with you. 205 Live does not need to be. JD Venom. How many pay-per-views should WWE realistically do a year? I am of the old school. I want to do one per month. One per month. NXT TakeOver, being that there is 5 big shows now. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank is now propelled as one of the big 5. SummerSlam, Survivor Series, I would have takeovers accompany all those big pay-per-views. So 5 takeovers for the year. 12 pay-per-views for the year. WWE isn't doing any more business than normal with these extra pay-per-views. I don't necessarily mind the extra pay-per-views because it's extra content for you guys. I look at it that way. Extra videos, extra money in my pocket, extra coverage is what it is. But, when WWE is hot and there's a buzz around the product, it drives traffic to YouTube and it drives traffic to channels like mine. But we are all overwhelmed. We are all overwhelmed with content right now. I think 12 is a right number. I really do. And maybe, with the 12 and then the 5 takeovers, maybe 1 or 2 WWE network specials that play into what we see on television. You know, maybe bring back the King of the Ring, the Mae Young Classic. Maybe we get another Cruiserweight Classic where we can get a whole fucking restart on this 205 Live shit. You know? So 12 is the prime number for pay-per-views. Joe's Demon Shell at Lemon Haze Dream. This is a real thought-out question. If you were starting a wrestling company with unlimited funds, what 20 men, 5-6 tag teams, and 10 women would you make up your roster? Now, does this include WWE only, or does this include, you know, all over? I don't know. I don't really have a list here, but unlimited funds. I'm going to start with WWE, okay? I'm going to take what I like from WWE, and then I'm going to filter out into other promotions, okay? I'm going to start with the tag teams, okay? I'm going to start with the Usos, number 1. That's number 1. I am going to take the Revival, number 2. I am going to take Revival, the Usos. I'm going to take the Bar. I'm going to take American Alpha. I would have never broke up American Alpha. I am going to take the New Day. And I'm going to take the Authors of Pain. So that's that. As far as women, 10 women. I have to choose 10 women. Let me see, man. Kairi Sane, Nikki Cross, Ember Moon. I'm going to take Toni Storm. I'm going to take Viper, Piper Niven. That's 5 there. I'm going to take... Who else did I see in the Mae Young Classic that I really loved? Santana Garrett. I really like her. I would take Sasha Banks. I would take Charlotte. I would take Alexa. And then I would take Becky. So that's 10 right there. I know I'm missing some, but so be it. Now, as far as the men go, I'm going to take Braun Strowman. I'm going to take AJ Styles. I'm going to take Bobby Roode. I'm going to take Seth Rollins. I'm going to take Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to take Brock Lesnar. I'm going to take Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. I'm going to take Bray Wyatt. I'm going to take Drew McIntyre, Aleister Black. I'm going to take both Ciampa and Gargano. I'm going to take Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, Kota Ibushi, Cody Rhodes, Pete Dunne, I don't know who else I would choose, man. I don't know who else I would take. Honestly. There's 2 more. It could be anybody. I'm gonna... could be anybody, man. Jeez, I don't fucking know. Ricochet. And... I'm gonna say... Just for the hell of it, because I can't think of anybody and I want to move on. Neville. As far as tag teams go, I'm going to minus Authors of Pain, and I'm going to put the Young Bucks. Because I'm wearing their shirt, and I just realized I'm wearing them. So, that's that. Good question. Obviously, it would be a little bit better answered if I had thought it out, and I looked at it beforehand, but, you know, obviously, still a lot of notable names there to start a company with women, men, and tag teams. Fahad. Do you think we'll see some surprise NXT entries in the Royal Rumble? And can you imagine WWE giving someone from NXT a Royal Rumble win as a debut match? No. Do I think we will see a NXT entry in the Royal Rumble? Maybe. That doesn't necessarily mean that we'll see them debut on the main roster. But being that NXT is going to be there, I think we'll see one. It would not be far-fetched to think Lio Rush gets thrown into the Royal Rumble and gets a lesson taught to him after what happened. But as far as NXT debuts in the Rumble, I do think we will see Peyton Royce and Billie Kay in the Women's Royal Rumble. I do think we will see the iconic duo in the Royal Rumble. As far as the men go, I don't really necessarily think anybody should be in the Royal Rumble unless they're going to win it. That's just me. I didn't think AJ Styles belonged in the Royal Rumble when he debuted in 2016. You know, I didn't like that at all. I think there was a better way for AJ Styles to come in, but that's what WWE wanted to do, and it is what it is, man. But no, I do not see NXT winning the Royal Rumble in their debut, but I do think we will see an NXT debut more on the lower end, maybe. Not like an Aleister Black or an Andrade or a Drew McIntyre. Maybe if Drew McIntyre is ready to come back. Maybe. I don't know what his status is. Drew McIntyre is probably going to be moved up to the main roster when he comes back. I can see him, someone like that, someone in that situation, coming up to the main roster and debuting in the Royal Rumble. What is your favorite memory? This is from Retro Surreal. What is your favorite memory that YouTube has created for you doing this venture? It's really a tough one to answer, man. My favorite memory, honestly, is becoming an online figure and having people come up to me the way they did at the Internet Darlings. Because there were some of you that said so many nice things to me that it actually brought a tear to my eye. So things like that really mean the most to me, man. You know, meeting everybody and having an influence on everybody and getting the stories that I get, whether, you know, someone's wife is in labor and they're listening to Off the Script, or someone's going through chemotherapy and listening to Off the Script, or if someone's depressed about a breakup or family drama or work-wise and you just need a vent and an outlet, and Off the Script is your outlet. Those are my most favorite memories, man. So, you know, hopefully we have more of them in 2018. And the one memory I want to make for myself is seeing my name with a silver YouTube button mailed to me with my name on it and says that I achieved 100,000 subscribers. Paul Robles, if you could book AJ Styles against any wrestler from the Attitude Era, who would you pick? And would the WWE Championship be on the line? AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. Take my fucking money. Eric Archer, what do you think the Raw Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania will be? I honestly don't know, but I do know that it will, if they stay healthy, it will include the Revival. Very tough to pick that out. Don't know, but the Revival will be included. Let me see here, man. Let me see here. Dark Knight. Would you ever give Aleister Black the NXT title? If yes, how would you book him? If not, how would you book him on the main roster? Aleister Black would be on SmackDown Live. Aleister Black would be that guy that comes up and you do right by him and you have him go through, you know, everybody like he's been doing on NXT until he gets to AJ Styles. AJ versus Aleister Black for the WWE Championship. Would I give him the NXT title? I have said it time and time again. I don't think a guy like Aleister Black needs the NXT Championship. I think he's proven his worth already to the company, and he's proven that he has a bright future. When there's something else bigger than what Aleister Black is doing right now, I would not sacrifice that to give Aleister Black the championship just based on who Aleister Black is and how good Aleister Black has been. We know he's good. He doesn't need a championship to solidify his greatness in NXT already. That's why I'm saying give Johnny Gargano the NXT championship and have Johnny Gargano defend the title against Tommaso Ciampa at WrestleMania in New Orleans at TakeOver. Simple as that. But yes, Aleister Black, I would book him on SmackDown Live, and I would propel him to a WWE Championship match against whomever, man. Nakamura, Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, anybody but this man.
The make-believe Maharaja
Anybody but that man, bruh. Anybody but that man. Satyushi Rutushi. Yes. That is a name on Twitter. How would you book Johnny Gargano vs. Tommaso Ciampa when Ciampa returns? I just said it. And I've been saying it. Let me see here, man. Do you think WWE's clearing? This is from King Trey, 1023. Do you think WWE's clearing Daniel Bryan for a match at WrestleMania 34 against Shane McMahon? No. If so, Daniel Bryan is going to be on a part-time schedule like Brock Lesnar. Will Daniel Bryan be? I don't know. I don't know if Daniel Bryan is going to want that. Daniel Bryan's already stated on Sam Roberts' podcast that he wants to at least wrestle 100 matches a year. I don't know if WWE will allow him to wrestle 100 matches a year. But it certainly looks like we'll be getting Shane versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Do I think WWE will have the balls to clear Daniel Bryan? No. Do I think they will eventually clear him? Yes. And that's not because they want him to wrestle. It's because they don't want him to go anywhere else. So they'll clear him and keep him on the contract for WWE just based on the fact that they don't want him going anywhere else. Let me see. How long are we in here, man? Yeah, we're going to end this pretty soon, man. I want to get through some subscriber stories, and then we'll call it a day here for the viewer version of Off the Script. Your dream returns and debuts for the Royal Rumble in January. Thank Jew on Twitter. I don't really give a shit who's in the Royal Rumble. WWE has enough members on the roster to fill that Royal Rumble match. 2 men. If he's good enough to come back, I want Drew McIntyre in the Royal Rumble. And if you want someone from NXT to come up and have a really, really good debut, I want, for a debut, I'm not saying call him up yet because it's too early. I want the Velveteen Dream to be brought into the Royal Rumble. I want to see the Velveteen Dream do his thing in the Royal Rumble. I want to see him last about 20 minutes in the Royal Rumble. That's what I want. What is my favorite heavy metal album of all time? Nick Hunter, NY Knicks 44. I am going to have to say Arise by Sepultura is my favorite heavy metal album of all time. Are they my favorite band ever? No. But that is my favorite heavy metal album of all time. Alex Guzman, would you recommend COD World War II as a Christmas gift for anyone? Fuck no. No. No, 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 no. Let me see here, man. One more question we're going to do. One more question. Legend. Are you going to watch Wrestle Kingdom 12 live and review the pay-per-view? I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it live. I might, depending on, because I don't really sleep at night anyway. But yes, I will be watching it. Yes, I will be reviewing it. And I know a lot of you are looking forward to that. Yes, I will be reviewing the pay-per-view. So there you have it. Thank you to everybody that has sent in questions. And thank you to everybody that has taken part in the social media segment, man. I know this is a little bit different from what we usually do, but there's no news. There is no news, man. So thank you guys so very much for all that. We're going to close out, and we're going to read some subscriber stories. We're going to end this off the script here for part 3 with some subscriber stories. There's a few that I want to read that are in my email, and there's a few pictures that I want to show you guys from one very special subscriber story. So stay with me, man. I'm going to segue into Matt Hardy, and obviously the Hardys have to do with the first subscriber story that I want to mention, so it's a perfect segue. I'm going to let Matt Hardy introduce off the script here as we get into subscriber stories right here on part 3 of episode 201 for Off the Script.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Broken Matt Hardy. This is JD from New York. Actually, delete to JD from New York. I have cleaned this vessel. Make sure to check out his wonderful show, Off the Script. It's absolutely delightful.
All right, man. This first subscriber story comes from my boy Falco, who is a big fan of the show. And he wanted me to showcase this because he's such an amazing artist, and the Hardys have several pieces of his work that I'm gonna show you. He sent me some pictures which are really, really fucking awesome. And he wanted me to read this on Off the Script, and I promised him a couple of weeks ago. Things came up, and just things got thrown out of whack. But I figured I'd save it for the Christmas episode here. And he sends me this, and he follows it up with his original sub-story. And he writes, "Hello, JD. I don't know if you remember my story back in January this year. You read my story about the Hardys. It was the story about my paintings for the Hardys and how we came in touch. It's also included the story where Jeff greeted me and Matt deleted you." Yes, I do remember that. "Since then, a lot has happened in my life, and the story was continued big time. And it was also so unbelievable, and every time I tell it to someone, I always get a no fucking way type reaction. Which brings me to a question. Do you believe in destiny? Or do you think that life is already written before your birth in some weird way? These are questions I ask myself a lot this year because we're almost at the end of the year, and I know everything that has happened to me in my last 10 years has finally made sense. Everything came together for me and made up for once-in-a-lifetime story. I'm trying to keep this short, but I got a lot to say. So as you know, I became a huge Hardy Boys fan back in 2007, and that was the time where I first started watching this unbelievable art form that is called professional wrestling. I instantly fell in love with the style and the moveset of the Hardys. I mean, these guys have so much charisma, especially Jeff. He has always been the more artistic guy. And I hate when someone says Matt is the second Hardy because he is just as talented as Jeff, just in his own way. These guys are truly the definition of Jing and Jang because Jeff is very creative on an emotional standpoint, while Matt is the workhorse who is always trying to reinvent himself. Anyway, I'm not one of those typical fanboys who cries when they see their idol. I see the Hardys as role models and inspirations. So long story short, when Jeff left WWE in 2009, everyone I considered a friend at the time stopped watching WWE because Jeff left. He was the hero of our generation, but I was the only one who was still following Jeff's career outside WWE. I watched TNA every week because of him. Even when Jeff had his darkest time, I was there, and I always knew he would get out of this sad time and addiction. Every time I heard this word addiction, Jeff was always associated with that word in a bad way. Now, everyone laughs when they hear addiction because of Matt Hardy's broken brilliance. They turned it into something so positive. I remember wanting nothing more than somehow to get Jeff and Matt because they were the ones who awoken my talent for art and creativity. Back in 2012, I was looking at the stars, waiting for a shooting star until I get to see one, and I did. I instantly thought about my dream to somehow come in contact with the Hardys in the future, a dream that seemed so far away, just like the distance between Germany and America. Since then, every year something has happened to a point where I truly believe in shooting stars, and I'm the last one to believe in this type of stuff. 2014, Jeff took a picture with my art. 2015, Jeff has even sent me some art back with his signature. 2016, he greeted me and wished we could see us soon. Now it's 2017, and the Hardys were on their expedition of gold, moving to promotion, procuring tag team gold all around the world. And when their contract situation with TNA ended the way it did, I knew there was a chance for them to finally come back home to WWE. I remember the WrestleMania 33 weekend so well. It was so special to me, I will always know where exactly I was and what I was doing. So my buddy and I watched WrestleMania live here in Germany, and when The New Day came out, we knew our vision and dream for almost 8 years will come to a reality in just a few minutes. We were so nervous, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant how The New Day gave us that 4-second gab with silence. And when that old school music hit, man, you have no idea how many emotions I felt in that moment. That was truly a great moment, I gotta admit, you know. That place went fucking crazy for the Hardys. That was probably the, outside of The Undertaker obviously doing what he did, that was the best moment of that WrestleMania. It was truly a moment I will never forget, and I'll always look back on it as motivation that anything is possible in life. Moving forward, that moment should become even more special in late August. I immortalized this moment on canvas and posted it on Twitter. Jeff's wife, Beth, loved it so much that she asked me if I could send it to her as a special surprise for Jeff's 40th birthday. I was like, absolutely, hell yeah. So I sent it out, and it arrived in time. This was very special. I had absolutely no words. I've been waiting to draw this painting since 2009. 8 years later, my vision became a reality, and to see both Matt and Jeff return at WrestleMania was unreal. This moment is now immortalized on canvas forever, and to see him with this smile is the best. Now, he got his moment in his hands. He now got this moment in his hands. I couldn't be any happier. This is no better feeling than being able to give back to your idol. The smile he gave to you after all these years, now I made him smile. So that was amazing. It happened at the right time because it was a time in my life where I wasn't so happy. My dad killed himself because he was a drug-addicted human being. And Beth and Jeff made me smile and forget about all the dark days during that time. The Hardys were announced for the European tour in November. I immediately thought this will be the year where I can finally meet them, because at that point we were both supposed to come to my hometown in Dortmund, Germany. But unfortunately, life is not always fun and full of happiness. Jeff got injured 6 weeks before the tour. I was sad because that would have been just the perfect time. But Matt was still coming. That made me so happy, and Matt and I made an appointment. Because we follow each other on Twitter, it was absolutely unreal that he said I could come to the airport and meet up with him there. So during that time, my buddy and I thought about a cool gift from Matt, and we made him a broken Matt jersey, the soccer club Borussia Dortmund. So November 8th had arrived. I did not even want to go to school because this was more important to me than anything else. The WWE plane was delayed, and normally I'm not a fan of people going to the airport just to get a pic with them. I mean, they are tired and very busy. But we did that because Matt was totally fine with us being there for him. So I told one of the security guys that I have an appointment with Matt here. Naturally, he was in disbelief. So I told him, okay, you know what you'll see when Matt arrives. He will come to us. And when they arrived, every single superstar immediately went to the bus because they were in a hurry, but Matt took his time to chat with me. It was important for him to do that for me. He was so happy that we finally met, and he loved the jersey, and we took some awesome pictures while everyone was waiting for Matt to finally come back to the bus. Matt is such a quality human being for being really the nicest guy you could ever meet, and yes, Matt is really, really humble to everybody, man. Matt is very, very down to earth and very gracious to everybody. Same thing with Jeff. It was an unbelievable experience to meet the General of the Great War. Later at the show, we deleted along with him, and he gave us his shirt. And that is my story, and I think it is far from done. Thank you for reading this. Really means a lot with this story. I want to tell everyone listening. If you have a dream, go for it. Don't let negative bother you. If you have a passion and love for something, your dedication will pay off one day. For me, it was the year 2017. And remember this, worthwhile events and goals in life typically aren't a sprint. They're a marathon. Patience and resolve are key. I will never miss an off the script. I promise, JD. Greetings from Germany, Falco. Falco is amazing, and I want to show you these pictures, man, that he was describing, if I could get my OBS to work. It's Falco. We'll cycle through them again. That's Falco with Matt right there at the airport, and I believe that's the bus behind him there. That's the artwork that Falco drew with Jeff holding it up, which I believe is on his 40th birthday. Unbelievable stuff there. And then Falco with his friend Matt, with his friend and Broken Matt with the soccer jersey, man. So that's some pretty amazing stuff right there, man. And I wanted to save that for this episode, and I think you guys would have enjoyed that. So, Falco, thank you for being such a supportive listener of the show. And, you know, what Falco says is true, man. Don't let any of the negativity get in your way. If you have a dream, if you have a passion in this world, in this life, continue doing what you're doing, man. Look at what Falco did. He got to meet Matt. He got his artwork to Jeff. Beth actually reached out to him personally to send the artwork to Jeff for his 40th birthday. He's part of the Hardy Empire, man. And he couldn't be more happy, man. That was his dream, and he got to that point. Hopefully you guys can take some inspiration from Falco, and whatever your dream is, follow Falco's footsteps, man. Never give up. So thank you so much for Falco for sending that in, and those are fantastic pictures and an amazing story, man. I really appreciate you sending that to me and taking the time to write to the show. I want to read one from Shug. This is another long one. We're only going to do 3. Falco was one, Shug was another one, and I want to read one more for you guys before we get out of here. Shug is someone I met coming all the way from Philadelphia. He came with his wife to the meet and greet that I had at SummerSlam, and he came all the way specifically just to watch the pay-per-view with me, man. And again, literally out of the blue, I seen Shug again last Saturday at the House of Glory show. Not this past Saturday, the Saturday before, at the House of Glory show when they had HOG 7. He came and he was there to enjoy House of Glory, and he's going to be back, he said, hopefully in February for the Amazing Red versus Low Key in the main event. And they just signed Ivelisse for a match with Sonya Strong, I believe. So that's going to be interesting to see for February 3rd show. That's 3 days before my birthday. But Shug wrote in, and I want to read what he wrote to me here. What's up, JD? I want to start off by saying it was an honor meeting you, my friend. The meet and greet was awesome, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Not only did I get to meet new people that love wrestling as much as I do, but I got to meet you. Too bad we didn't share a Guinness together because we were both pretty much shit-faced. Yes, but maybe next time you are around, we could do that for sure, man. He says, you are a really great guy, and I appreciate the love you showed to all of us. Stay true and keep doing you, brother. This actually is a letter to you, a letter to formally introduce who I am and my life up until this point. His name is Larry, and he is the second oldest of 6 children. He writes, my mom raised us on welfare for most of our childhood, and we all grew up in project housing. My dad was always around, but worked small jobs here and there, from what I remember anyway. I say that to say that me and my siblings never had the best clothing, shoes, toys, etc. And whatever things that we did have were not in the best condition. I was always a shy kid growing up. I never hung with the cool kids because I wasn't considered cool to everyone. I was the outcast, it seemed like. The only friends I did have were my next door neighbors, who I call my brothers. We looked out for each other growing up. I was often picked on because how I looked in junior high school and in high school. I was always shy, mainly because I had no self-esteem, and I thought that other kids would make fun of me every time I said anything. You know what, man? I was the same way in high school. I was the same way in grade school. I was the same way in high school. In grade school, I wasn't part of the cool kids. There was a nice little group that was, cool, and, they were like, the teachers' pets. The teachers loved them, right? They had all the pretty girls in class, hanging around them, and, me and a select few guys that I hung around, we were like the wrestling guys, the video gaming guys, the fucking, the fucking outcasts, right? I remember I was picked on in grade school, and I remember, people taking my Braves cap, and hanging it out on the flagpole on the 3rd floor in 8th grade. I remember people, making fun of me because I hung out with my friend Anthony. His name was Anthony Colon, and he lived 4 houses down from my Aunt Teresa, and I hung out with him after school. Had lunch over his house when we weren't in school, played video games. Doing what typical teenage boys do, man. Video games and fucking wrestling, right? And people made fun of me for hanging out with him because, they made fun of him, and they were throwing the word gay around. They're like, oh, look at this gay, and look at this faggot. So I was lumped into that, and I really wasn't cool, The girl that I liked in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade didn't have any interest in me. She wanted one of the cool guys, right? And it was just hard, man. Even in high school, growing up, freshman year of high school, I felt like I was an outcast. I felt like if I said anything, people would ridicule me. People made fun of me on the school bus going to school because I had my CD player, my Walkman, right? And I had these big fucking headphones that my dad gave me, and you can hear what I'm listening to through the headphones. And people made fun of me, like, what are you listening to? That's all fucking noise. It's all shit. You know, I was into, like, the Soulflies and the Fear Factories and the Machine Heads and the Corns and the Limp Bizkits in high school, right? So people, System of a Downs, people were making fun of me, you know, making fun of the shit I listened to and calling me a fucking geek and taking my book bag and throwing it around the school bus and, you know, all that shit, you know? So I understand where you're coming from, man. I was the same way, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to me, you know, dealt with the same fucking thing. I had no self-esteem. You know, I felt like I was a nobody, you know? And then I go home and, you know, I'd be in the comfort of my own home, and then I go back to school and dread going to school the next day because I didn't want to be picked on, you know? Continuing on with Suge, I used to overanalyze everything. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. Growing up as a young kid, me and my siblings dealt with alcoholism in our house. My father drank almost every day. He would come home late at night when we were all in bed sleeping. He would immediately start arguing and sometimes getting a little physical with my mom. I grew up with the same thing. This happened a lot. One night, she threatened to kill him if he tried her again. Ever since that moment, he never took it as far as a couple of insults to her. That's when he decided to take it out on me and my brother. He never really bothered my sisters. He would come in our room and get up and clean the whole house or do some type of manual labor. If the task that he wanted done wasn't to his liking, he would have us do it over. He also made us do physical training like he was our sergeant and we were his cadets. We would go to school just a couple of hours later when my dad wasn't drunk. He was a real cool guy, down to earth and funny. Our best times were when we watched WWF on Saturday mornings. I immediately was a fan. I was a huge Macho Man Randy Savage fan. I enjoyed everything him and Miss Elizabeth did in the ring. Then there was the Ultimate Warrior. I loved his energy. I used to believe nobody could stop him. Boy, those were the days, huh? You know, this was the beginning. As the years went on, I've grown to love wrestling and everything about it. It was my escape from real life struggles. Me and my dad had bumped heads as I grew because I couldn't take it anymore. Drunken nights where he made us clean or physical training. One night I knew he would come home tripping and my bag already packed, and as soon as my dad had bumped heads, I just grew because I couldn't take it anymore. Suge goes on to say he had his bags packed, and as soon as he would have started bullshit, I would have been out the door. That's exactly what happened. He came in the house yelling, and I quote, okay, all of you get up and clean this house. First of all, the house was never dirty. We kept it clean to avoid these moments, but of course he wasn't satisfied. I stood my ground and told him about himself and said, I'm not cleaning anything. And I lost my place. There you go. You come here every night, drunk and yelling, and it's not fair. I told him I'm not doing anything. He said, well, you can get the fuck out. I said, okay. I grabbed my bag that was already packed and hit the door. He wasn't expecting that. Moving out felt good, but finally standing up to my father felt better. But bad at the same time. I love my dad. I just hated his ways. So now I'm living with my new girlfriend, and things are great. I'm 15 years old at the time, and I'm enjoying life. I got my first job at 16 years old. And even though I don't have my own place to live, I learned to take care of myself, and I never returned home. Me and my dad seemed to get closer, mainly because of his guilt from me leaving and how upset my mom was after I left. We became best friends. I would come home on Monday nights just to hang out with the family and eat dinner while watching Monday Night Wars with my dad. He was a huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan at the time. It was the happiest times we've ever had together. One day, my dad received a letter from his doctor saying that he needs to stop drinking. I remember like it was yesterday. I knew it was serious because there was a thick stack of documents basically telling him his condition and a list of medications. I knew it was bad. My mom was worried as well as the whole family was. All he had to do was stop drinking and he would be fine. Years go on and everything is great. My dad barely drank anything, any liquor, and seemed to be doing as the doctor instructed. Every day that I don't see him, he would make it his priority to call or text me just to see how I was doing and that he loved me. I appreciated it every time and returned the gesture. One day, he told me that he doesn't trust my girlfriend and to watch myself before I get hurt. I thought he was just jealous that I was doing good on my own and spent a lot of time away from home. I was young and couldn't see that she, in fact, was cheating. I had been with her for 3 years and never mistreated her. I had girls come at me all the time, but I loved her so much that I never entertained other girls. I came home from school one day and all my bags were packed, and she said, "We were done. You have to leave and give my mom her house key back." This was the day after I found out that she was with somebody else, and she had no choice but to tell me the truth. My heart was shattered. I had nowhere to go, and I didn't want to go back home. There was no room for me there. I couldn't stop the tears from falling. The only person I could call was my pop. He came and saw how hurt I was. He felt bad for me. I had never showed this type of emotion in front of him before. He didn't know what to say to me, so I guess he just said what he felt, which was, "I don't know why you're crying. I told you that bitch wasn't shit." I wasn't trying to hear it, though. I was crushed. I loved her with everything in me. I ended up moving with a family friend for a couple of years. Fast forward, after 3 years of partying, hanging out, and meeting people, being single, hooking up with girls, I finally found the woman who is my wife today. You could not keep us apart from each other. But when we started dating, I was still enjoying the single life and I couldn't shake it. Finally did after a while. We had children, and by that time I had already lost her trust. Not going into detail, but I fucked up my marriage. We're still together after 15 years and hanging by a thread. But we are trying. Our youngest son is special needs, so that alone takes our time that we need alone. Plus, I work full time to keep the house and the bills together. So we don't have time for us. I lost my dad to the bottle in 2010, and my life has been going downhill from there. My mom recovering from colon cancer. I lost a shitload of family and friends since 2010. I almost lost my baby boy in 2014 when we had to get 2 brain surgeries and a heart surgery. But JD, I'm telling you this because when we were in that hospital not knowing if our son was going to live or die, I tried to do something to distract me from the pain. That's when I found you on YouTube. When I was at my most fearing and defeated point in my life, you gave me hope. I immediately was hooked, and I watched your show. The whole 3 months I was with my boy, and you got me through these tough times. After God, it was you, brother. This is why I reach out to you every now and again, because I appreciate you. There's a lot more, but maybe we can talk about that another time. I just had to tell you how important you are to me, bro. Hopefully I can make it out to Hog one of these days. Until then, stay true, and thank you for touching my soul. And I don't mean to get emotional to everybody, and I didn't expect to have Suge say that about me, man, but you know, I appreciate you guys telling me all that. I really do. You know? Because sometimes I'm not feeling good either. And I got problems of my own. And I had my heart broken twice this year. So for me, in my weakened state this year, to do good for somebody, man, it makes me feel like I'm doing something right, even though I'm not really feeling myself. And Suge, I appreciate you, man. And next time I see you, man, I'm gonna buy you that Guinness for sure. You didn't have to share all that with me, man. That was a lot, and I had no idea about any of that. And it makes you coming out to see me even more special. And the next time I see you, it's even going to be more special than the last time, man. So I wish you and your family the happiest of holidays, man. And I hope that everything continues to get better for you. Really. Thank you so much, man. It really means a lot to me that you shared all that with us here on the show. I don't know what else to say, man. Sometimes when I hear stuff like that, I just get speechless, to be honest with you. We're going to do one more, man. I want to I don't know. There was another one here. I can't. Yeah, they got one here. This one's coming from Prab Singh. AJD. It's Prab here from India. If you find it difficult to say my Indian name, you can call me PJ. PJ from India. Hope you're having a great day. First of all, congratulations on reaching 200 episodes of Off the Script. 200 weeks, almost 4 years. It's a very long time. All the hard work and time that you put into the show and the dedication you've shown towards your passion is very inspiring. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you've done. I'm writing this just after listening to OTS 200 Part 1, and listening to your real-life story made me very emotional. I'm 17, and I've been a subscriber since late 2015. The time I started watching wrestling again after I stopped watching in 2010. Most of the times I agree with what you state, but there are times where I disagree, but I always respect your opinion. Your voice just screams passion, and that is what I like about you most. I will not share my personal story to you to make you sad, but I will say that we all go through shit and fall, but ones who get up and keep moving forward are the ones who become successful. JD, your hard work will pay off one day, and you'll achieve everything that you want to. I made something for you just to make you smile and show my love and appreciation. I wish I had known this so I could put it on the screen, but PJ says, I hope you like it. I just wanted to let you know that I will be supporting you in everything that you do. Thank you so much for reading this, and congratulations once again. Hashtag Goon for Life. Hashtag Love from India. PJ. He downloaded... let me see if I could save this. I want to see if I could save this here and show you guys. I'm going to put it into... this quick. PJ. Let me label this as PJ. And I'm going to put the image on the screen here if I can find it. PJ pick. Let me see if it shows up in my downloads. Where is it? Yes, it is. There we go. That's what PJ made for me right there. It is an off-the-script, I guess, collage. Oh, done, the #1 podcast. Wood. Oh, JoJo, man, you fat ass, man. Uber driver, bro, the modern-day failure, Raha Nakamura. Muhammad Abu, Mr. 95. So that's pretty cool, man. PJ, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. Very cool, very funny, and just a culmination of things that we do here. The craziness that is Off the Script, man. Thank you guys so much for everything. This is an episode that is unlike what you're normally used to seeing here, man. No news, all subscriber-based, all listener-based. And thank you guys so much for everything. I hope you all have a happy holiday. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys next week for the last show of 2017. Hopefully there'll be news. I'll see you guys tonight for Monday Night Raw. I apologize for getting emotional with Suge's subscriber story. But shit like that means the world to me, man, that you guys confide in me so much. And I appreciate everything that you guys do. But thank you guys so much for all this. Subscriber episode of Off the Script, and I'll see you guys tonight for the Christmas episode of Monday Night Raw live from Chicago. I am JD. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tonight for Monday Night Raw. I'll talk to you later.